Hello to anybody watching. My name is Hans Kamau and this is Grimy. So, what is Grimy? Grimy is a series that is designed to allow to be a safe place for people and myself to be able to come and discuss complex, difficult, uncomfortable, and more periphery type of Christian topics that maybe are not discussed as often as others. So, as you can see by the title, today's topic is based on homosexuality and gay people in general, right? So, um, before I get into it, I want to I had to, because of how complex this video will be. I had to create a like, what is this video going to be and what is this video not going to be. So I just want to start with, what is this video not going to be? This is not going to be a video that is telling you or going to be or telling anyone who's watching this not to be gay. This is not that type of video. This is not a video that is going to be telling people, asking people why they are gay, or pointing people to focus on that sin specifically. So what is the video going to be about? What I feel that my role today, and what I feel like my job today especially, is to focus and to point to Jesus being a safe place. That is the focus of this video. That is where I want to prioritize as much of my energy as possible in explaining and being able to describe, like, the verses that I have, just the Bible stories that I have, is pointing to Jesus being a safe place. And secondly, it is pointing to Jesus finding us and seeking us, and seeking us where we are in our current experience. And I want to dispel any ideas of us needing to be perfect, to be used, to simply even bear witness to Jesus. That is what this video is mainly. This what this video going to be about in total, right? So, with that being said, I think it's important to give a bit of context as to why we're discussing this today. Um, Niggas Be Gay started off as like it started off as me asking myself, what would I do if my son came out as gay, or son or daughter came out as gay? And when I asked myself that question at first, honestly, I was actually like, when I really like reflect on it, I was like, okay, let's see what do I think. I didn't find I thought I did not have any problems with it. I was like, okay, if my son came out as gay, I would be like, okay, it's okay. I'm not going to demonize you. I'm not going to like kick you out or to try and treat you in any way. I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to be your dad. I'm still going to care about you. I may not agree with your choice, but I'm going to still support you and love you, right? It's like, oh shit, okay, we did that, we got that, right? Okay, and then the this I feel like this was God being very, very smart. He asked, what would you do if one of your friends came out as gay? Like, and I'm talking about not the people like I'm talking about my close friends. For example, Todo, Q, who doubt, or anyone like the people who are like really close to me. What would I do if they came out as gay? And my days, the answer shocked me. I didn't realize how much anger I had. Not anger, but like resistance. Because when I was asking myself this question in my head, it's like, when you start like arguing with yourself. Like, I just started arguing with like my friends, but like in that scenario, I kept on like the way the part of me which I didn't even know existed, that I found out as I asked myself this question. It kind of like revealed to me a very, maybe a person who doesn't have as much grace as I thought I had, who isn't who isn't as loving regardless of the circumstance as I thought I had, and maybe isn't as tolerant also as I thought I had been. And so that question spiraled obviously into now this video being Niggas Be Gay, which um I hope to like explore and kind of like, again, just to highlight how Jesus can be a safe place. And I also want this to be a teaching moment for me as well, to kind of like to I think refocus my heart on Jesus as well. To kind of like, okay, let's learn how Jesus handled these topics, how Jesus handled this, how Jesus worked through this issue. And yeah, that is basically where this came from. That is the context behind it. So, so, and also for like other people as well, like, oh, I'm sorry, not other people, but like looking at society as well. As Christians, we are. What is it first? Is it we are of the world but not of the world? We are part of the world but not of the world, right? And so the context of this world is one of, and I think even if you look around, there's one where where society is transforming into this very sex positives, this very like pushing very explicit like um ideas and like experiences, and kind of like there's a very much a shift from the biblical point of view to now where everyone, you can do what you want, and as long as you enjoy yourself and no one should judge you and everything like that, right? Which is obviously opposite from what Jesus teaches us, right? But as much and as we are part of the world, we are here to be representatives of Christ. And shit, this is hard because as much as we're here to be representative of Christ, like how much, and especially with the topic as sensitive as homosexuality, it is very difficult to like to like, for me, what I'm learning is like I'm finding it hard to share grace and to give grace and to give love, while at the same time like being honest about like the action, or like understanding that homosexuality is a sin, and like at the same time there's also my own like fleshly biases and predispositions that are like that are honestly like they are wrong, or like they are completely like, even those are sins in themselves, where maybe where honestly like I would put homosexuality as like a different type of sin to me watching porn. Like shit, I'd be like, hey, I watch porn, but that means I'm better than homeboy who's has a relationship with a guy, right? So it's like the whole idea behind this video as well was to try and just form like a basis, just to form like a foundation for me to be like, okay, this is how I'm going to start off a way to address this issue. Because as I said again, we are of this world but not part of this world. So it means that, and we are going to interact with people who are gay. We're going to interact with people who are homosexual. We're going to interact with people who are bisexual, and who honestly, I don't even know how. There's so many genders. There's so many. That issue is always changing all the time, right? So we're always going to be encountering like different ideas, different thoughts, different mindsets towards sexuality, right? So I just wanted to just try and create a foundation, hopefully through Jesus' word, and to find a way to kind of like be like, okay, so this is where we're gonna start before we continue, then before we like deal with all the more grimy stuff, right? So I wanted us to start off with John 4 verse 4 verse what? What is it? John 4. Oh, it's John 4, the whole of John 4 actually. So this is Jesus meeting with a Samaritan woman, talking to a Samaritan woman. And at this time, basically context, Jesus is obviously Jew, right? They didn't mess with Samaritans at all. They were, at the time, there was what, the cultural tensions. I think even in the story as well, the lady says, what did she say? She says, where is it? In verse 9. The Samaritan woman said to him, "You are a Jew, and I am a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink? For Jews do not associate with Samaritan women." So that's like the cultural context behind all of this, right? And so, and also her being a woman and everything, like there's all of these different like gender, there's also these different contexts around it, right? But the part that I wanted to focus on, and especially in the context of this video being about homosexuality, is how Jesus did this. In verse 17, let's go from verse 17 to 18. The lady says, "I have no husband." So Jesus asked if she has a husband. She's like, "I have no husband." She replied. Jesus said to her, "You are right when you say you have no husbands. The fact is, you have had 5 husbands, and the man you now have is not your husband. So what you have said is quite true. And I wanted to point that out because the fact that Jesus is able to reveal her lie, to reveal her current experience, where she is right now. And I want you to focus on how the woman reacts when she's, imagine someone came to you and told you, like, imagine, I'm gonna use myself, right? Imagine someone came to me and was like, or not, like, maybe it's like said, you are a porn addict or something like that, right? Imagine someone came to that, like, if someone came to, I'll feel so uncomfortable, I'll feel so like turned off by it, right? But when Jesus said, you have 5 husbands and everything, the way that the woman reacted to it, for me, it kind of points to the fact that the way he said it was in a space of kindness. It wasn't a way of judgment. It was simply pointing out the reality of where she was right now, that she had 5 husbands. That's and the way that and the fact that she was able to say this in a way which didn't put her off, which didn't make her run away, which didn't like like turn her off to the whole conversation, points to the fact she's just able to who is able to verbalize our experiences in a way which is non-judgmental. And so that's the first point I wanted to point out, is that if you are a gay person, that Jesus is able to understand your context, and he's able to verbalize in a way which is not judge you, which is able to cater to point it, to put it in a place of, this is where you are. I see you and I understand and I know. And I'm not saying that to judge you, I'm just saying that to because we need a starting point, right? So I just wanted to point that out at first. Is that, and fact the fact that this woman right here was the first evangelist. This woman at the time, because when she went and told her whole town about Jesus, she became the first evangelist. And there is no like time difference between like that shows like she went to divorce all her 5 husbands. In with all of them, Jesus still used her to be able to become the first Christian evangelist. So I want to also point out the fact that no matter where you are, you may have like those homosexual feelings, you may have those homosexual experiences. Jesus is still able to use you. I never want, I hope and I pray that no one will ever like make you believe anything else. Jesus is still able to use you with those same experiences. Okay? So that's the first thing that I wanted to point out. And I also wanted to like look at how like with how I want us to look at how like a God who sees us, and how God sees us, and how God witnesses, and how God cares about us. Basically, His faithfulness in our current experiences. And this is I feel like for me, it's so important to look at the cross. When Jesus died for us on the cross, He didn't die for us at our best. He didn't die for us when we were trying to live for Him. He didn't die for us when we're trying to like be the best version of ourselves. Jesus died for us at the worst moment, at literally our worst. Imagine yourself at literally the worst part of you. That is the point where Jesus died for you. And so there's going to be so much that that can make you think that because you're not this good, because you don't reach this kind of standard, because you fail, because you have these desires, because you have these thoughts, because you have these experiences, that Jesus died for you any less. He literally died for every single sin that we have committed. And I feel like pointing that out is like he sees us and he knows where we are at all times because he is faithful. And there are times when like, oh, I've been, I was watching, I can't remember who it was exactly, but like, yes, it was this lady on Jackie Hill Perry, where she was discussing how when she was gay, she felt that God, she didn't know that God could still listen to her, that God could still hear her, that God could still be in her presence. And For me, that points to that reminded me of the story of Hagar. And in what Genesis 16, right? So Hagar was an Egyptian slave who Abraham took while after leaving Egypt. And basically they got into they came up with the idea that what they're gonna do is Abraham is gonna sleep with Hagar, so that they could fulfill the promise of the child, that God had given them, right? And after Hagar got pregnant, she started treating Hagar badly and eventually got her kicked out. So now at this point of seeing Hagar basically in the desert, trying to get back to Egypt. And this is where the angel of the Lord, right, meets her. And I love what he says here in Genesis 16 verses Genesis 16 verses, what is this? Verses what? 8. And he said, Hagar, slave of Sarai, where have you come from and where are you going? And I want to just point out that question. Where are you coming from? Where are you going? That is such an interesting question to ask. And imagine this is angel of the Lord. I feel like this is like this, and in some texts, this is actually some people think that this is Jesus like speaking because this is an angel of the Lord, right? Where are you coming from and where are you going? And for people who are homosexual, there's and who are and specifically people who are still who want to seek Jesus, right? That's like for homosexuals who are trying to seek Jesus. Where are you coming from? Where are you going? That is a question which, for any person, I feel like is so important to ask or to think that God is asking. Where are you coming from? Where are you going? Because it kind of points to opening a space for us and opening a safe space for us to be able to give him our what's the word to give him our load. Where are you coming from? Where are you going? You coming from a lifestyle. You are in a lifestyle. You are living a lifestyle. You don't, maybe you don't even have any intentions of becoming heterosexual, right? Where are you coming from? Where are you going? But in this moment, Jesus is able to simply just to allow you to share, to come to you and to say that he sees you, to say that he sees you and he loves you still, that he's still faithful even when you're in the desert, even when you feel like everything is dry, even when you feel like nothing is looking up, he still sees you. And I just feel, and I love this text because it just points to it. And actually, and there's the Hebrew word El Roi, Elroi, the God who sees me, which is what Hagar says at the end, the God who sees me. And I want to just point out the fact that God still sees you. Even when you feel like you have gone too far, even when you feel like you have no intention of coming back, God still sees you. And how he sees you is not from a place of hate. It's not from a place of judgment. It's not from a place of viewing you as unfit or as unclean or anything because you feel like your desires have put you out. No, this is a God who sees you with love, who sees you with care, who saw you being mistreated, who saw you being, and that is like another thing that also pushed me was like listening to experiences of people who are homosexual, like they've been kicked out, some have been sexually abused, some have been literally like treated so badly. I wouldn't, and when you like think of it like that, it like even makes you like I don't even care if that you're homosexual at that point because just your simple human, the fact that you're still human, I wouldn't want to put anyone through that. Yeah, we may have differences about what we think is right or wrong, but just the simple fact that you're a human being, that God still created you, that God literally still created you. Um, it was also like it pushed me to also want to create a video like this as well. And yes, again, Elroy, God who sees you. And I want you to, and if you can, just keep meditating that no matter what, doesn't matter. It's not about you deciding anything. It's just about you knowing and you understanding that God still sees you. God still sees you in a place of love. God, you are still His child, no matter what. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you are gay or not. God still sees you. God still loves you as much as anything in this world. He literally died for you. So that shows you how valuable you are. So don't let anything like sexuality stop you from knowing that. Okay. Um. Um. I love. Okay. Those first two verses, I really wanted to just point out how Jesus finds us where we are, right? And with this next few, I wanted to look at specifically the role of Christians and in dealing and in addressing homosexuality. And personally, I already so I possibly dealt with. I would have dealt in that scenario that I gave or that I thought of. Right, I dealt with it in a trash way. And with the verses that I have next, I wanted to together like a how do we how would we how should we as a church or how can we as a church address people who are homosexual. And I want to start off with this verse over here. And it is what? It is first of all, it is James 5 verse 16. And it says, "Therefore confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective." Now, it may seem at first listen that I'm saying that in the context of this video that I'm saying um that I'm putting the onus on homosexuals. No. When I read this verse, the first thing that came to mind was, do we create safe places for people who are homosexual in the church? For them to be able to come into the church and to give them the grace to fall, to give them the grace to still to struggle. Do we give them that grace? I That's something that I want to learn how to do. To be able to give someone the grace, to be able to come to me and be like, hey, I'm dealing with homosexuality and it's something that I'm struggling with. That's not something I'm healed of, it's something I'm struggling with. So can you be a safe place for me to come when I have terrible days, when I have good days, when I have bad days? Can we be able to do that as a church, literally like each and every one of us? Can we be that safe place? And that's why I wanted to bring this verse. Therefore, confess your sin. Confessing is hard. It doesn't matter what sin it is. It doesn't matter who. Like that is literally one of the hardest things ever. And so when you add something as literally as more seen as more like uncountable as homosexuality, how that's even like 10 times more harder to do. So, and especially with how the church has, I feel like has maybe dealt with it in a bad way. The focus on this part for me is, let us create safe spaces for people who are homosexual to be able to deal with it in the church, for us to be able to again represent Jesus Christ. We already saw that Jesus found that Samaritan woman when she still had 5 husbands. And another example is, think about that woman who committed adultery. Think about how Jesus was the only person who could throw the stone, but he didn't. He chose not to. He said, "Go, no, go, and not don't sin again." So we have to say we have, and if we and for us who have sinned, we have no right to even try and demonize or even like to try and push them away from the church, because even Jesus didn't do that. Our job is to literally be a safe space, and so that is what I wanted to really like put the focus on here, to be a safe space, right? That is a verse on James. The next one is found in Galatians 6:2, Galatians chapter 6 verse 2. And it says, "Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ." Carry each other's burdens. Carry each other's burdens. Carry each other's burdens. That's to carry someone's burdens. And especially in this context, that goes against every. You know what I'm thinking about right now? If some I'm thinking about the whole pause culture, the whole no homo, the whole um what else are people saying? Or what else am I actually remind me too sometimes? Pause. I've said that before. But that whole culture where if someone insinuates, if someone like even jokes about the fact that you could be gay, you like you could even throw hands over that. You could throw hands over that. You could. And you would like you'd refute that with like your whole like everything in you. And I'm thinking about my experiences, like just me. I'm not even talking about anyone. I'm talking about me. If someone were to insinuate that, I would be like, I would fight against that for real. I would definitely fight against that. Not physically, verbally, obviously. And so when someone says when Paul is like carry each other's burdens, and in this way you fulfill the law of Christ. Damn. Okay. Okay. Carry each other's burdens. How would that look like? And when the and this is so interesting because I feel like the Holy Spirit tells us that you can't carry someone else's burdens unless they tell you what it is. We like for example Jesus with us, right? When Jesus comes to us, he allows the space to be able to share our burdens and our unique burdens. We don't all have the same burdens. There's some that we all have different things that we come to Jesus like, Jesus, I need help with this, I need help with this, I need help with that. So think about how like when in Galatians 2 it says carry each other 6 verse 2 it says carry each other's burdens. It's almost pointing us to again to the fact that we have to create safe spaces for people who are homosexual to be able to come and share their burdens. And to fully share their burdens, we have to create that safe place. We have to create that safe place. And I wanted to just push that again because and again, let's go. And in this way, you fulfill the law of Christ. That's the whole point of this. That's the whole point of why we are able to even do any of this. It's because of the law of Christ. It's because of Jesus that He is the one who has created that perfect model that we are all trying to reach. And so we really have to find ways to like push ourselves. And it's going to be uncomfortable. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. I'm still unlearning things. I'm still having to learn more about grace. I'm still having to learn more about love, to love more, to be able to care for people, to be able to be safe. I'm still not at the level of where I want to be as a safe place for people who are homosexual. And so I don't want to act like this is coming from someone else. This is literally like where I am right now. So yeah, last verse before we go through. And I want to use this because it links so perfectly to everything that we've said. And it's Acts 2 verse 42. And this is the description of the early church. And I want to use this because that's what we are, right? That's what we are. We are the early church. And it says, they devoted themselves to the apostles' teachings and to fellowship and to breaking of bread and to prayer. Everyone was filled with awe at the many wonders and signs performed by the apostles. All the believers were together and had everything in common. They sold property and possessions to give to anyone who had in need. Every day they continued to meet together in temple courts. They broke bread in their homes and ate together with glad and sincere hearts, praising God and enjoying the favor of all the people. And the Lord added to their number daily those who were being saved. I wanted to include that description because this is a church issue that I wanted to address at the core. It's the idea that we need to go back to the ability to be able to create a place where we can meet together, where we can break bread, where we can eat together, where we can come together as people praising God, right? And we can only do that when we allow each other to we can only do that when we allow each other to be able to bring our unique prayer points. Yes, okay, my boy's over there is dealing with homosexuality. Okay, then cool. I'm dealing with porn. Okay, cool. He's dealing with having a jealous heart. Okay, cool. That's the essence of church. It's not separation, it's literally unity. And so I really wanted to, at the core of this whole topic, I wanted to really put the focus on, first of all pointing that Jesus is a safe place, and he finds us and he loves us where we are, right? And secondly, it is the need for us to be able it's the need for us to be able to model Jesus' behavior to create that safe place for people who are homosexual. And so that's literally the whole 30, 41 seconds of all of what I wanted to say. Okay. That was good. That was good. I hope it was good. I hope we've been able to learn a lot. I hope I've been able to express um I hope I've been able to express like that Jesus, the fact that Jesus is the one who Jesus is the point. This is Jesus is going to be the foundation of all. He's the foundational rock of this whole issue of how we can address it. And again, I just want to point out, I'm not asking you to be perfect. I'm not asking you to condone it. All I'm simply asking is for you to be able to create a safe place to model Jesus' love in in for you and for anyone else. That's all I'm asking in this whole thing, this whole video. All right, I am tired and thirsty as hell now, but this was very good. Um, what? How do I conclude this? Thank you very much. If you catch this point, thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening. Um, what do you think about this topic? This is a very interesting topic. I love Grimy as a series because it's this series. I want to get as much like different what's it, opinions and like perceptions about this. So is there anything that you feel like I could have added? Is there anything I feel like I should have maybe I could have I said wrong, or is there anything that maybe you want to like refine or anything? Please, I would love you to just comment, say anything that you feel. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you the next time. All right, let's go. Let's go.